How you doing, all you beautiful sons of bitches? It's your boy Backseater here, and today we are taking another look at Anthony Gramuglia, and he is taking a pot shot at anime. Yay! He thinks that Ranma one half is simultaneously bisexual and transgender. Now, the thing about anime is that I'm not super duper familiar with it, aside from like three. That's why I got my boys here. So everyone, please give a big round of applause for the debut of Schnell and Queen Luckpup. Say hi, guys.
Oh.
Hey,
So because I'm not super duper familiar with Ranma, why don't you guys just give me and the audience watching what the heck Ranma one half is?
so Ranma Half is an anime, basically. Boy, well, he's in his teens. He and his father, they come up some sort of magical powers or something, and basically, when splashed with a certain temperature of water, he'll turn into a girl, and when splashed with the other temperature, he'll turn back into a boy. I honestly forgot what temperature caused it, but it's typical anime gender bend comedy shenanigans. It kind of has a little harem theme with multiple women being a love interest, but he very clearly has one main one. It's basically like just a comedy. There's some martial arts in it too. It's very like classic 90s anime. Rumiko Takahashi, she's the writer of it. Anybody who's familiar with her, it is a very like signature Rumiko work. It's not really like woke. It's typical 90s anime, like comedy, gender bend stuff, but of course people get it twisted.
And of course, you got clowns like Anthony Gramuglia here. I believe he's gay himself, but either way, he is definitely one of those bozos who just take like anything and just desperately search for any gay stuff in there because that's just the kind of clown he is. So yeah, Luck Pup, Chanel, real happy you guys are on for this. So without further ado, let's get into it, shall we? Oh, can you guys hear it, by the way? It's not making any sound for me. Hold on. Let me see what's going on here. Oh, I had it muted. My bad, everybody. Technical difficulties. Here we go.
Ranma One Half's remake is out, and much like in the 90s, it has taken over the anime fandom. A lot of fans in the 90s are pouring back to this classic by Rumiko Takahashi. Now, of course, that's a big name in anime, and when many people think of Rumiko
I've
Takahashi,
never heard of
they think
her.
of, in America at least, waking up at 5:30 a.m., watching the very end of
She did a
Adult Swim
lot of
seeing the
different
same
things, like
ending
Inuyasha.
each time they
Oh, I
woke
know
up, as though they
Inuyasha.
only played
Yeah.
the one ending every episode and every season. I don't know. Just saying. Caught it a lot. But for me, it's my first memory of Rumiko Takahashi is keeping the Pokemon VHS tapes, playing this a little bit too long, and catching the trailer for Ranma One Half after finishing Pokemon.
It seemed like a typical day in the neighborhood around
Okay.
the Tendo training hall until something different happened.
Which is strange considering I don't think that show's very appropriate for the target demographic of Pokemon, be that being 5-year-olds. But I
Would you
digress.
would
I
you
do.
agree with that, guys? That Pokemon is I'm sorry, that Ranma one half is inappropriate for 5-year-olds.
About what I'm hearing right now from it, I'd say so.
Look, Pup, would you agree with that
I
assessment?
I guess it really just depends on somebody's thoughts. Really, there's just nudity, I guess, kind of suggestive content. It's not really anywhere like an actual ecchi anime tier, but I'd let a 5-year-old watch it. But if parents get just hate all nudity, then they're not gonna like it. I don't think it's a big deal. It's a very like kind of down to earth comedic, so I don't think it's that bad. Just has some nudity.
Yeah, it definitely seems like an East versus West thing because I know in Japan, like nudity, especially child nudity, is more seen as like a sign of purity. But like here in America, it's like, oh, like nude children, oh, that's a big old red flag. But anyway, moving on.
I do think a lot of us got introduced to Takahashi very young, and specifically Rama One Half very young, especially if you're like my age and thus getting into the geriatric room in the hospital when you go there. So when many of us were
You're
watching
not even
Rama at a very young
close.
age, I think it did influence us growing up. I'm sure looking back, you think, yeah, none of this is gonna affect me when I get a little older. Ranma One Half plays with gender and orientation, fast and loose. But like
Would
with a lot
you
of older
would you agree with that, Luck Pup?
What exactly was he saying there?
He said that Ranma One Half plays very fast and loose with gender and sexuality.
I would agree to a certain extent. I think you could say it does, but not in the way that people like this are trying to really spin it. I would say that because Ranma, obviously, like a lot of Rumiko Takahashi's works, it's very obvious that the main character and another main featuring character, they are going to be dating at the end, and throughout the whole series they kind of have a will they won't they close relationship, and this kind of continues when Ranma is in his female form. But when Ranma doesn't really like being called a girl, even when he's a girl, towards the end of the anime he's more accepting of it, but that's not in like a non-binary way or
Mm-hmm.
anything. It's like, okay, yes, I literally have a vagina and XX chromosomes now, so it's okay if you call me a girl. And when he's in the female form, he is shown to have some sort of attraction possibly to this dude, but it's actually kind of funny. I think if you're trying to claim like some sort of bi rep, this is bad because it always goes away when he turns male again, and he doesn't really, it doesn't go anywhere. It's very obviously who he'll end up with. And with gender, Ranma changes gender due to a magical power, and through most of the anime, he doesn't like that. And towards the end, and maybe the middle of the end, he just is accepting of it in a way because he can't change that. There's a few instances of characters cross-dressing, but let's just say that's not really portrayed in a way that would be considered positive towards people who would want to do the same. So I guess you could say it plays fast and loose with some of this, but not quite in the way that a lot of people would be hoping for.
I see. Well, moving on. Let me go back a bit. I know I cut him off there.
Fast and loose. But like with a lot of older things that we all loved, it is a work that has started to show its cracks over time. There is a lot of heteronormativity in Rama that I would think might be
Okay,
off-putting
so
to a primarily queer audience, but
Ugh.
or the new audience coming in the 2024 era. But I find it very interesting how a lot of people
Yeah,
are
of course
looking
you
past
think
those
that.
flaws to enjoy this classic.
All
Which
right,
I mean,
hang on.
that's
Hang on. I know. I want to go back and read these panels here because I know that this is that he's the kind of guy who's like, oh, it's problematic. Wah, wah, wah.
of older things
Okay.
that we all loved. It is a work that has started to show its cracks over
Yeah.
time. There is
Okay. Let me see here. But certainly that wasn't the case, was it, Ranma? Of course, if it had been your first kiss, that would be a
a lot of
tragedy.
heteronormativity.
Okay. What's the problem here?
Yeah, I think it's really stupid when people they look back at this and they're like, "Oh, this didn't age well. This shows how it ages." Like,
Pisses me
no,
off.
like that makes no sense in reality. It's illogical. It's stupid.
It's like they expect like past works to just evolve, like change themselves over time, especially works that are like no longer in production, like Luck Pup, right? Like Ranma One Half is not being made anymore, right? Like the original manga is over, right? And it's not getting any sequels, right?
Yeah.
So it's just this weird cognitive dissonance a lot of lefties have where they just expect like these works to just automatically update themselves the passage of time. I don't know.
In Rama that
Yeah.
I would think might be off-putting to a primarily queer audience,
All right.
but or the new audience coming in the 2024 era. But I find it very interesting how
Can I
a
say
lot of
something
people
real
are
quick?
looking past those flaws to enjoy this classic. Which I mean, that's great. I'm really happy about that because it meant a lot to me growing up, and I'm glad it means a lot to other people now today. I'm honestly so happy to see how warmly received Rama One Half is right now.
Really?
And the fact that the series looks so aesthetically closer to the manga is amazing. While I do love the original anime, there was a stiffness to the character designs, to the animation, and at sometimes the comedic scenes were kind of poorly timed, a little stilted. But this new series, it's fast, it flows, the faces are so expressive, the character designs are so soft yet so detailed. It is perfectly like the manga that I grew up reading.
So
For
what's the
people
problem?
who are queer, Ranma is complicated. Some may say the show cracked their egg.
Hold on. Let me see this. Have you really forgotten about being a boy? I don't know quite how to describe it. It's as if my experiences until now aren't mine. It seems so unreal, as if I have another person's memories. And this morning, the real me suddenly awakened. I finally realized that I was a woman. I don't know about you guys, but that seems more like... what's a good analogy for this? I don't know about you guys, but this seems more to me like the freaking morning after Peter Parker got bitten by the radioactive spider and he's realized he's changed and he has his spider sense and he can cling to walls. That's what this seems more like to me than like, oh, I've suddenly developed gender dysphoria overnight. That's just the read I get from this
Yeah,
scene.
yeah, it's exactly like that because there were some time periods in the series where Ranma was unable to change back genders for an extended period of time. And one thing is, like at the start and through the middle of the series, even when he's in the female body, he does not like being called a girl. But really, his acceptance with that is it's literally just him accepting that, oh, well, I have a vagina and boobs now, and everybody perceives me as female, so there's nothing wrong with being called female. It's not really anything deeper. If they think it, oh, it's so comforting to see that, I mean, that's fine, but to try to call a work problematic, but then try to apply all this other stuff to it like this, it feels very bad faith and disingenuous.
Yeah, that's something else a lot of lefties like Ant do, okay? They sing the praises of works like this for like being ahead of its time and tackling issues that no one else was willing to do and having representation at a time where it's completely scarce, but then they'll immediately turn around and say, but it also hasn't completely aged well. There's some problematic elements, yada 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 yada. And not even like it was fair for its day. It's just like a complete 180 against it. It's like if you're not 100% in tune with my modern day current year values, it's like there's something wrong with this. It needs to be changed or burnt, whatever. Ugh.
I add something to that real quick.
Exactly.
Yeah, go ahead, Chanel.
So, have you noticed like how parents nowadays, like especially left-leaning parents, will use shows like this to tell their kids, "Hey, being gay is like not bad." Like, which to me it's not, but why would you show your kids like a show that's like that? Like they're really young. They don't need to be teaching
They
or
need
learning
to
about that stuff
let
yet.
them at least let them learn their arithmetic before you let them learn the fucking
Exactly.
alphabet crap. Ah.
Because like what you were saying, like people will tell them like to get rid of the show because nowadays lots of kids cartoons are just full of like, hey, I'm bisexual, I'm transgender,
Mhm.
I'm gay now. Like like why would you add that to a literal kids show? Especially the shows I used to watch as kids, like when I was a kid. A lot of those shows now came out like with sequels and stuff, and that's basically what they are now. It's just to me how I see it is like LGBTQ propaganda.
Mhm. Yeah. Ah. Fucking Christ. Moving on.
So to speak, while others find it very offensive and problematic. I'm not going to be touching upon every
See,
aspect
told
of
you.
the queer audience's reaction to Ranma, but I am going to try my best to summarize both a perspective from the orientation side of things and from the gender side of things,
Oh boy.
with a couple of special cameos to help me out along the way.
Oh
But first,
God, he's got
a
his
simple recap.
friends.
Akane Tendo is the youngest of three daughters. She's a martial artist who regularly is hit on by just about every single guy she meets. She has a crush on her family's doctor, who she believes has a crush on her older, more feminine sister, Nasumi. Her experiences have led her to absolutely be frustrated with boys, and vowing to never be with one. And she's not the main character. The main character is actually Ranma Saotome, a young martial
All
artist
right,
who, after
look, Pup. I just want to make sure: is his assessment of Akane there correct?
Yeah, but Akane, like, I can already tell he's gonna try to look deeper into it. Akane is one of those stereotypical anime girls who is what has a lot of like tomboyish qualities, but also is like one of the ones that just hate men. Really, it's like it's that type of stereotype that I'm sure anybody who's really familiar with a lot of anime knows exactly what it is.
So the closest I can think of would probably be I guess if you're familiar with Danganronpa, probably Tenko, because Tenko is a bit like that. But a bit. I say a bit, not completely, but yeah, I don't know. It's been a while since I played V3. I could be misremembering her character. All right, let's hear him. Let's hear him go over Ranma here. I'm willing to bet you he doesn't like the fact Ranma's the protagonist.
frustrated with boys and vowing to never be
Is
with
this
one.
guy like
And
really
she's not
like?
the main character. The main character is actually Ranma Sato.
Is this guy actually what now? Like I didn't hear you.
Is he like the type of guy that like kind of like over exaggerates a lot of things?
No,
Yes.
kind of. Anyways, let's hear him go over Ranma here.
Tome, a young martial artist who, after training with his father, who is a contender, along with Gendo Ikari, for being the worst father in anime in the 90s. So after training with his father, Ranma ends up in a cursed spring.
All right, I just want to ask how bad is Ranma's dad in this show?
Not really that bad. Comparing him to Gendo Ikari is absolutely horrendous. I like it's very ignorant. I don't know why. The dad isn't really that bad. Like he kind of doesn't take a lot of stuff seriously. I guess if you really want to look into it, it's they kind of negligent, but it's not really anything that's actually abuse territory. Just kind of dumb, really.
So so would you say he's closer to like the bumbling dad archetype?
Yeah, definitely. He's really. He just seems to be like like that archetype, but just I guess doesn't really take a lot of I guess emotional stuff seriously regarding his child, which
All right.
I guess will flag some people off.
Okay, all right, okay. I'm sorry I'm sorry I have to ask all this, Luck Pup, because I do not trust Ant for a minute. He is definitely the type of fellow to just leave stuff out and overlook nuance. I knew this ever because Ant was the first guy I ever made a video on my channels back before the Backseat Boys even existed. It was just me on my lonesome, and Ant left out a ton of nuance in that video that video on the Acolyte I covered. Anyway, I'm sorry. Moving on.
Where he's doomed to transform back and forth between a male and female body whenever doused with water. Oh, and Rama and Akane's father, years ago, agreed to betroth their children, arranging a marriage without any of their input, without them knowing about it even. Parents of the year. Parents of the year.
What time period does Ranma even take place in?
The exact time period, I'm not exactly sure, but it's not really stated, but it's kind of it was made in the 90s or maybe even towards the late 80s. It's kind of implied to be like a mix of that with a lot of inspiration from like back in like the old days. But the thing about this is like the marriage thing is very clearly something that is going to be blown out of proportion by people like him, and it's like it's not that serious in the anime. Like it's not a huge social issue.
Yeah, I was just about to bring that up because if there is an arranged marriage, that leads me to believe two things. Either one, because due to my unfamiliarity with the show, that leads me to believe two things. One, the show is set in a past time period where something like that would be more common, or it takes place in an alternate world where history and whatnot progress differently and cause certain values to be different from ours, and that's just what I'm getting at. That's the feeling I'm getting,
Well,
and so yeah.
it's I won't say it's really set in the past, but this is a trope in a lot of anime that it's not quite like how they did it in the past, but basically they just swear their children to be married. It's not really that far in the past, like historical, but in the context of the anime, it's not like a huge big deal, like a huge issue. It's a
Yeah,
common thing
yeah,
in anime like this.
yeah, and I might be wrong. So if I'm wrong, someone in the comments, please let me know. But I'm pretty sure arranged marriage is still like not super common, but like still somewhat used today in modern day Japan. And I say this because I'm a fan of the Persona games, and in two of the Persona games, 4 and 5, there were two characters whose personal subplots revolved around them being in like rich families and them being in arranged marriages. Ko, the strength social link from 4, and Haru, the Empress social link from 5. I distinctly remember that. So it's just an East versus West thing. And yeah, how great of Ant here to to hypocritically impose his culture's values on another country, but then like say like, oh yeah, it's totally it's totally bad of the Jedi from the Acolyte to impose their values and their interpretations of the Force onto those lesbian witches. Fucking hypocrite. Moving on.
Now, Akane is actually initially pretty okay with this because, hey, Rama comes back in girl form. No idea that he switches genders back and forth. Thinks, oh wow, I'm so glad I don't have to date a boy. So Rama arrives at the Tendo household as a girl. And she feels a great sense of relief about it. Not because they'd get married. I mean, of course, same-sex marriage was illegal in Japan at the time. Because Rama wasn't a boy.
Hold on. Let me go back and read that.
Ensues when Rama takes a bath.
Hang on. I want to go back and read that shit for a minute. He just flashed that shit on screen. What the hell is that?
Same-sex marriage.
Japan momentum for marriage equality grows with Tokyo High Court ruling. In response to today's Tokyo High Court ruling recognizing the unconstitutionality of Japan's ban on same-sex marriage, Amnesty International's East Asia Marjang said. What does this have to do with anything, Ant? Why are you bringing this up?
Honestly, that's
Nothing.
This shit was a big
Bro
leaked
just
out.
pulled up.
He just pulled it out of his ass. Yeah.
He said, "Hey, since this takes place in like the 90s, let's just pull this article out of nowhere."
Yeah. Fucking Christ.
Yeah, I would like to have it known throughout this that I am a woman who has only messed with other women, and this has zero to do with anything.
Yeah.
Which was illegal in Japan at the time. Because Rama wasn't a boy. Hilarity ensues when Rama takes a bath and comes out a boy. Right when Akane decides to take a bath around the same time. Because, of course. So yeah, the show follows a simple formula. Wild character arrives, adds to the convoluted love triangle by either crushing on Akane, crushing on one of Rama's genders, well, maybe hating the other gender, who knows. Things grow more complicated as the cast expands, resulting in a romantic comedy battle manga that has a devoted fan base. Now, in the interest of the video, I did a lot of reading. As in, I reread Ranma 1/2's manga. All of it. I read several articles as well to get different opinions on different topics, some of which I will directly cite here, others which I will flash on screen. I also have a list of these articles in the description below. They are two lenses through which I want to analyze Ranma. How does Ranma play with orientation, and how does Ranma play with gender identity? The answers
I'm willing to bet only for the sake of comedy, because I'm telling you, leftists like Ant take everything dead fucking seriously, except for when they don't. It's just fucking Christ. Like, learn when jokes are jokes, and stop thinking everything is like a subtle hint. Christ. I mean, how did
everything that...
Remember back when the craziest theory floating around on the internet was the trees have epilepsy? Those were good old days. Those were good days. I miss those days. Moving
Do you
on.
remember when Blue Waffles was a meme?
Oh yeah, that was
yes.
funny.
Also,
Jokes wasn't that bad.
this man's bookshelf is an absolute mess. Holy hell.
It is.
He probably
I
thinks
don't
it
read
looks
books.
cool.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, this
I
makes
don't
me.
read books, but
It's like, oh yeah, this makes me look well read. No, Aunt, it makes you look like a fucking slob who refuses to like organize his damn house. I'd hate to see his CD rack.
Surprise you. Also,
do you think he
let's
reads half of those books, or are they
because
just
Rama
there to get
primarily
dusty?
identifies
No.
as male,
No, they're
we will
there for
use
props.
he, him pronouns when discussing Rama Saotome.
Oh,
The
he's
love
using
triangle is
pronouns.
a lot.
Great.
This love triangle is actually very simple when you get the hang of it. So first off, we have the main guy himself. So obviously we start off with our guy Rama. Right?
Holy shit!
And from
Oh
there-
my god, Aunt, are you fucking serious? You couldn't even fucking get a bigger, like a bigger fucking. Look at this shit.
That
This is fucking
He
pathetic.
thinks he looks cool, but he doesn't.
Bro took a Polaroid camera and took a picture of his computer screen with that. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, this is laughable. This is
This is-
bizarre.
Hey
Oh
guys,
my
can you guys see this picture? Oh, I
No,
think you can.
Aunt. Oh my
I'm
god.
like that.
Oh
Cover
my
the whole
god.
cardboard piece of
Ah.
that. Oh my god.
Oh my god. You couldn't even get a bigger like piece of cardboard and cut out bigger pictures, or just stand off to the side where you are right now. Just stand off to the side and have the picture show up. Hell, Aunt, you actually edit your videos, or someone else does for him. I don't know. You actually edit your videos. I don't edit shit. I just record it. And you have more video making skills than I do. And this is the best you can come up with? Shame.
Dude,
Shame.
I used to make
Shame.
videos because other people did. I would never do this. This is crazy.
Backseater, I would understand you doing this, but someone that has editing skills and video skills, I would actually be disappointed.
I know,
like, I'm
right?
disappointed in him just looking at
I'm
this.
legit disappointed. I'm like that Principal Skinner meme where he looks up, he's like, pathetic. Oh my god. I gotta make that a meme at the end. Here we go.
You know that meme where that dude's like looking up in the air,
we
like,
have
oh my
Akane.
gosh.
Oh, you mean Willem Dafoe? Yeah. Okay. Alright, hold on here. Let's go.
Our guy Rama, right? And from there, we have Akane. We have Rama and Akane. Obviously, the main character of the show, right? Pretty basic. But then we have
Oh
one
my
of the
god, that
guys
picture's even
who likes
smaller.
Akane quite a bit.
Yeah,
So
this
one of
is
the
even
guys who's
worse.
pursuing Akane is Kuno. Now Kuno fights for Akane, basically get her to woo her essentially, and sees Rama, male form, as a rival for his love. However, then he meets Rama in girl form and forms an immediate crush on Rama, who he calls the pink-haired girl. Doesn't know who she actually is, just is immediately in love, of course, naturally. To make things more complicated, Kuno has a sister. Kuno's sister, Kodachi, has an immediate crush on Rama.
I feel like I
in
need
male
a
form.
magnifying
So,
glass
two siblings,
now.
both pining after the same
Like, just
character.
to see who they
Don't know
are.
the same
Worse.
Tell
person.
Dusty Books to
Yeah,
my
hijinks
phone
ensued.
right now.
But then there's my boy, and best character in the
He
whole
knows
show,
most of his audience doesn't even watch this.
Ryuga, who is cursed to become,
If I was a
a
fan of
kid
his
because he
content,
pursued
I'd be
Rama to China as
embarrassed
well.
for him.
And
It's like,
a
I'm
little
subbed
pig
at
boy,
this guy?
not like that. He is Rama's rival, but
He knows
because
his
his
audience
over time,
is worse.
terrible sense of direction.
His
has a
yeah, his
crush
audience
on
just
Akane.
laps it up. They're
But
total
Akane
cool.
doesn't like
Yeah, he's
Ryuga.
got.
He
in
woke
part
up,
because
he's literally
Ryuga
like
early on
just
gives
woke
her
up
a
and decided
very,
to film a video.
shall we say,
Yeah.
close cut haircut.
His hair
With a
doesn't even
bi-cut,
look
if you will.
brushed.
But
Hold
in
on,
pig
hold
form,
on. He had
Akane
hold on. He had
loves-
shit flash across the screen. I want to see that shit. Hang on.
in part because Ryuga early on gives her a very, shall we say, close cut haircut. A bit of a bi.
The bisexual haircut. You laugh, but this is the
Oh
exact.
my gosh.
What the fuck?
It's just cringe. Cringe.
It's
Hey,
just.
you want to know
Cringe.
something, buddy? Hey,
It's.
Aunt,
It's just.
I had my hair that long.
It's just medium length hair. What the fuck?
Oh, Reddit is down the hall to the left.
Apparently, there's also a thing if women have short hair that automatically makes them trans or a lesbian.
Oh my god, yeah, dude. The Alphabet Mafia ruins everything. Holy hell.
Alphabet Soup Mafia.
Yeah.
I cut, if you will. But in pig form, Akane loves Pichon, who she does not realize is in fact Ryuga. To add to matters, there's Shampoo. This is where things get a little more complicated. So there's Shampoo. Shampoo's a martial artist that Rama encounters in China in his girl form. And Shampoo comes from a village where essentially if you lose to a man, you have to marry them.
They
And
like
if you
to
lose
add
to a
creative
girl,
names.
you have to go out, fight them again, and eventually execute them. Rama wins as a girl. So Shampoo decides to pursue Rama to kill him, basically. But when she gets to Japan, she realizes that Rama's kind of hot, and she falls for him in male form. So she has that kind of mix. Technically, she lost to a guy, so technically, she's got to marry him. Of course. So tries to make him out to be her next fiance. Then there is my other girl.
Did he put that Go Fish
Ukyo
there,
is where
or
things get
did that
complicated.
just pop
So
up?
10 years
Because
prior
I
to the
don't remember
manga
seeing that
start.
there.
What'd you say, Schnell? I missed that.
I don't remember seeing the Go Fish card deck on his shelf. Like that literally looks like it just popped up there.
Wait, what? Hold on. Where is it? Hang on. Where do you see it? I'm legit.
On his like
Probably,
his left arm,
His
where he's holding the
he
mic.
probably
It's
thinks
like
it looks cool.
right there, like where he's holding the mic. If you rewind a little bit, you just see like a thing of like Go Fish cards.
Let me go back a bit. Hang on.
And I'm like, why does he even have that?
He has a thing of Go Fish cards.
What the
It
fuck?
is not cool. It is not swag.
You really need to. Oh my god, Aunt, you really need to listen to Jordan Peterson when he says this. Clean your room.
I can smell dusty books from my phone, dude. It's actually crazy.
My room isn't the best, but holy hell, is it more tidy than this? I'm legit more interested in just like looking at crap on his bookshelf. It's more interesting than him. Holy fuck.
Right? Ukyo is where things get complicated. So 10 years prior to the manga starting, she was technically engaged to Rama, unbeknownst to Rama. But after Rama's father broke off the engagement, again, Rama's oblivious to all this, Ukyo swore off dating boys.
Aunt, all right, I'm sorry. I have another fucking criticism for this. Aunt, can you just here's another thing. Can you put some fucking visuals on screen, like more than? And I don't mean like your fucking little cardboard layer. I legit mean like, can you just have have a fucking visual graph just on the video? Just turn your camera off, go to your computer, and make just a visual graph, like a net graph in Microsoft Paint. Just do this, because this is boring as hell. Just watching you move back and forth, put photos on your cardboard, and then just explain the song. Or show clips from the freaking show. This is just boring me to death, man. I legit want to...
He's like a businessman.
Yeah, he's like a businessman. It's like, let me tell you all about propane and propane accessories. It's like,
He's got like the cardboard thing. He's got like the chart. He's got like the stick and everything. He's got the glasses.
Oh my god. I don't even think he needs those. I think he just wears them to look smarter. He's like, I am so smart. I am so smart. SMRT. I'm putting this on 1.25 because I just want to get to like more interesting shit. Also, he titled this section the love. He titled this the love triangle, but this is looking more like a love hexagon based on what I'm hearing.
Yeah, I would like to point out that there isn't really a love triangle at all, so I really don't like this section. It was very obvious who will end up together. It's even more obvious who won't, but this is one of the classic anime tropes where it's kind of like a kind of harem where, oh, there's a lot of people that like the MC and even a couple people who like the main girl, but it's very obvious that none of them are going to end up at the end. Like, just anime 101, you would know that.
So it's far from Archie, where the eternal question is, will Archie end up with Betty or Veronica? It's really more clear cut from the get go, and all these other possible romances are just obstacles to get there. Is that what I'm hearing from you?
Exactly. This is a very, very common trope in like anime, especially older anime, but it kind of shows that a lot of these people, they really like they're tourists. They don't know this. They think it's like legitimate romance conflict when it's so obviously not.
I mean, if you look at the paused screen I have right now, you can tell this man is a tourist. He's like, yes, I know absolutely everything about Ranma One Half, even though I finished it like last night and started it 3 weeks ago.
He looks like the nerd emoji.
He's a redditor. He probably skipped past like all the nude scenes and stuff, covering his eyes.
No, Reddit. No, this dude is too fucking cringe for Reddit. He's got to be from like Tumblr or some shit.
Oh,
I
he's
wonder how
from
much.
Nine
I
Gag.
wonder how much. I wonder how much terabytes he has on his computer.
Oh, a
Man.
lot.
Uh, I gotta
Look at that. The
freak.
face says it all too.
I need to make this audience go right now. Make a meme out of this man's face. Make a meme out of this man's face right here, right now. All right.
Much like
Look at his
Akane,
nose.
though she took it one
Yeah.
step further by rejecting her femininity. She no longer presents as feminine physically, instead dressing as a male.
Like a villager.
We'll get to that later. However, Ukyo and Rama in the present have more of a friendly relationship, and while Ukyo is trying to win Rama over, she's also not insane. So that
He's
makes
got
her
a nose
best already
bigger than
of all the different love
Squidward.
interests for Rama aside from Akane. Okay, so you confused yet? Because it's more complicated. Because all these
What the
extra
Sigma?
things, all these guys, they have more love interests who want to pursue them that they're ignoring to get to Rama, and some of those love interests who are they're ignoring then pursue Rama, either make their love interest jealous, or maybe they just develop feelings for Rama. And then there's
Get on with it.
Tsubasa. We'll get to her. Primarily, there's two forms of attraction that Rama, by its nature, features: superficial attraction
Let's
to
not
the body,
say we did.
and deeper attraction to the soul and mind of a person. Now, obviously, Rama is Rama, regardless of what body he is occupying. Nabiki, the middle sister of the Tendo family, seems to understand the superficiality of some of these characters' attraction to Rama, and just sells and exploits the character's image for profit. She seems acutely aware that everyone around her is an idiot, and she knows how to make a profit. I respect this, even if I think this is very cynical and terrible. It's quite entertaining. Now, both Kuno and Shampoo switch gears from hating Rama to loving Rama when Rama's gender presentation aligns with the gender they're attracted to.
Well,
While Kuno
yes,
is
it's because
kind of oblivious, Shampoo is
It's like, yeah, and it's because he's in a different form and they don't know better. Dumbass.
Honestly,
Yeah, I
I'm
would.
not- I'm losing brain cells listening to this dude talk because, like, honestly, like he's talking and I'm just like, none of this is making any sense. And
Yeah, he's
Oh
like a
my
bored
god.
person. Now, I would like to point this out, and now using a word that he would feel comfortable with, that he would use, the series is very heteronormative when it comes to characters like losing or questioning attraction once the gender changes to make it not heterosexual. That's actually part of why I think it's really bad representation of what they're trying to, what this guy wants it to be, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I think Queen could definitely explain this better than Ant.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
I
like a
am
lot of,
willing to.
yeah, like a lot of times, like aside from Mikane, sometimes like when Ranma changes gender, like the whole thing with him and that dude is completely gone, and a lot of the girls too, like it's either completely gone or it's not really a factor. Like a lot of like it sounds like a queer paradise if you let these people summarize it, but if you actually look into it, how they act and how they way they act and think towards the other characters change based on gender changes, it's actually very heteronormative seeming.
Yeah, seems yeah again. Uh, Yeah, look, Pup, again, I'm real happy you decided to join for this, because otherwise I would have been fucking lost. Anyway, moving on.
No, I had to join.
Yeah,
Backseater would have punched his monitor by now.
I would have punched this monitor and knocked this guy out, even though he lives like halfway across the country from me. Moving on, or in Canada, where the fuck he lives. Liberal hell.
Canada.
Oh, Canada.
Hello,
Or
I'm from
aware.
Canada,
The
Mike.
love that Akane and Rama have, though, seems more sincere in the manga, since over the course of the series, Akane and Rama go from rivals to kind of tense, vitriolic buddies to actual romantic partners. The manga ends, of course, with the implication that one day Akane and Rama will marry. There's, of course, a conflation between violence and attraction. Fighting is immediate, is sometimes a shorthand for attraction. There are several examples throughout Ranma where combat is conflated directly with attraction. When Kuno first proposes his attraction to girl Ranma, he issues a formal challenge, as if he's going to challenge him to a martial arts fight, and Ranma arrives thinking it's going to be a fight. Even the way Kuno hands Ranma the bouquet of flowers is much like a kendo strike. Further, Shampoo, of course, first becomes engaged with Ranma after a fight. And when Akane and Ranma first meet, their first instinct is to spar, and whenever emotions get heightened or tensioned, violence in some fashion is committed as an expression of said attraction. Because of the way combat and violence and injury is presented in Ranma, this is not taken too seriously. The characters can take a few hits, but it is still undeniable that the externalized
But he
action
thinks
in the
he's
series
Crash
is
Course
often
over here.
conflated with the internalized emotional state of the
What was that, Chanel? Chanel, what'd you say? I heard you say
I
something.
I said, Buddy thinks he's Crash Course.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Alright. You know, I'm getting, like, really bored of this section. Let's just move straight into the trans shit, shall we? It's like, I feel like, hold on. I feel like we're just not gonna get anything more out of this. I just want to, like, fast track it, like, shit that's actually spicy. Let's get to
He's reading way too much into stuff that is not there for any purpose other than it's just a martial arts anime or it's a light-hearted anime. Like, just he's reading way too much into it, and there's nothing.
Alright.
Hey guys, in terms of identity, this is arguably the most difficult thing about Ranma that I have to write about, because obviously I am cis, but you know who else is cis?
Oh, yeah, of
Rumiko
course.
Takahashi, the creator of Ranma,
Yeah,
is
of course
undeniably
he's the word
fantastic at what
cis.
she does, creating these sprawling
this is
casts
awesome.
of lovable characters. But I don't think she really understood or cared to understand the complexities of gender identity before working on Ranma. Yet despite that, for many people,
He
her
didn't try
work
to write
connected with them
that.
at a time they needed it most.
Yeah, alright, alright, so, it's like, oh my god, this fucking man is just a walking leftist stereotype. Holy fuck.
Yeah.
It's like,
I don't think he realizes this.
No, he is just that far up his own ass, sniffing his farts with his giant Squidward nose.
Yeah, I don't think he realizes the gigantic difference between somebody choosing to try to change their gender and somebody having a like freak magical incident causing them to switch between male and female.
I didn't see. I haven't seen any of. I've only seen one of Ant's videos where he talks about X-Men, and in that video, okay, so hang on, look, Pup Chanel, have you guys ever heard of a character named Morph?
I believe so. I have. I've heard of the name.
Okay, so for those,
Yeah, heard of it. Yeah.
so Morph, real name Kevin Sidney, is a shapeshifter mutant, right? He can shift his physical form into anything into any way he wants. He can turn himself into a man, turn himself into a woman. Yeah, yeah. He can even turn himself into animals, right? So in X-Men '97, Bo DeMeo, I've seen X-Men '97, and there was some stuff I liked in it, but there was some stuff I absolutely hated in it. Overall, I'd say it was fine, but still a mixed bag. But fucking Bo DeMeo made Morph non-binary for the sheer fact that he can turn into both men and women. It's like, yeah, no shit, he's a fucking shapeshifter, dumbass. And so it's like, and of course he had Ant here coming out and saying like, oh yeah, morph totally is non-binary, using they them for morph, and it's just like, it's like, motherfucker, do you not know what a fucking super? Do you not know the difference between a superpower,
Exactly.
a superpower, and and like and like legit like transgenderism, dumbass? It's like this is the exact same way. It's like this isn't one of Ranma's powers. It's a curse. I know that, but it's like Ranma has some affliction that caused him to switch. And it's like, but even despite all that, even despite Morph being able to turn into men, women, and fucking animals, he still identifies a guy, and he got absolute smooth brains like Ant here, who just who either come up with it with this bullshit themselves, or they listen and believe bullshit from others. It's just, oh my god.
Exactly.
And seriously, stay out of these fandoms you talk about. Stay out of there and stay in the fandoms that actually do have to do with this. You are not wanted. You are not welcome. Stay out. It's people like
Has he ever
you.
done?
Hmm?
Has he like done any like leftist stuff on Star Wars as well?
Oh, he definitely
Oh my
did.
goodness.
The very first, I mentioned this earlier. The very first video I ever did was him defending that piece of shit acolyte, and he legit said, "I can't wait to see where the show goes next." And he made this like when episode 6 got released. It's like, I can't. I think he said he want. It's been so long since I made that video. I honestly forgot. I think he said he's awaiting a second season. Sorry, bitch, no second season for you.
Yeah, just
So hilarious in hindsight, so rewarding in hindsight. I got real angry in that video, I know that, but oh man, it's like after like when the dust is settled, that's when you can feel happy. That's a good fucking feeling. We can own absolute tards like Ant here. Moving on.
But for this right now, I want to have a few other voices speak out before I offer my 2 cents to the matter. Writer Marion
I don't
B. in
know.
the article Ranma One Half My Favorite Problematic for Anime
Of
Feminist
course
wrote
it
in
is.
2017. Throughout the series, Ranma's transformations remain superficial, and he regularly uses his female body as an object to further his goals. It is a distraction to win fights against the perverted master Haposai, a disguise to prevent Ryoga, one of his many rivals, from making moves on his fiancée Akane, and so on. Most of the time, his female body is used as comic relief, or worse, a handicap. Throughout the
Okay.
series, women are presented as secondary to the male leads, especially in combat. Each girl fights Ranma at their introduction, yet we rarely see them participate in.
Well, okay, well, first of all, yeah, of course, he's cursed, Ant. Do you know what a curse is? A bane? And it's not a good thing, dumbass. If I'm cursed with bad luck, that's not a good thing. Now, second of all, each fights the girls get into are completely like uneven. They're women, and and you might not want to hear this, but it's biological fact. Men, by and large, are stronger than women, and if you don't like that, TS, take it up with Mother Nature. Now, look, pup, are there any fights in this show where the women defeat the men?
there's a lot of just fights in general. There definitely are showcases of females winning against males, but that's like every anime pretty much because typically that is not really a problem in anime, which further makes it me question why does he even bring this up? It's very strange. Like this seems like he just doesn't he's the epitome of a tourist,
Oh
but
yeah.
none of his points here matter. Yeah.
All right, so when
You
a
know,
woman, I'm sorry, Chanel, but whenever a woman is fighting a man that's shown they win, do they win because of like superior strength or because like, oh, they were faster and harder to hit or whatever? Which one is it?
It really like there's a lot of like the slapstick comedy, like the oh she beat him up, but then there's also showcases of oh yeah they beat them through other things. But this is just a case of an anime where there's a lot of female characters and it's a martial arts anime. It is a lot of focus on martial arts, so yeah, they don't just constantly have men beating on these women.
So there's no like women in the show like Ronda Rousey or whatever. It's like all the women are like super lithe, athletic, thin, and whatnot, right? There's no like them or what, like there's no She Hulks, there's no Wonder Womans, right?
Yeah, well,
Okay, all right.
Akane and Shampoo are like pretty strong, but they all have that same like the same build body type, you know.
So they're more like uh women like Barbara Gordon or Cassandra Kane or X-23 even. They don't win because like they hit harder. They win because they're more agile. They're more skilled. They're more tactical or whatever. All right, I got that. All right, moving on.
Serious
Kind of like Black
battles after
Widow.
that.
Yeah,
Those
yeah,
are
exactly.
reserved
Thanks,
for
Schnell.
Ranma, or if Ranma needs any allies, his rivals Ryuga and Moose. That leaves the girls' fights against Ranma and each other as the only testament to their power. Discouragingly, they all lose the former embarrassingly fast, and the latter aren't taken seriously. That article more analyzed the division between men and women in Ranma and the heteronormative binary at play. Another article on the same site, Ranma One Half and the Anything Goes School of Accidental Trans
What
Narrative by Paul
fucking
White, takes a
site
different approach,
is this?
analyzing how the series handles trans narratives
It's just
accidentally.
trash.
Paul wrote from the perspective of a trans man who in part identified with Ranma's struggle with gender identity. Looking back at Ranma One Half 30 years after it first aired, the series has not aged well. It's outdated for its depiction
Oh my
and
goodness.
treatment of women,
Yeah,
and the very
of
real
course.
trauma that the characters inflict on each other. Characters with queer subtext are
Not
consistently
trauma.
homophobic, and gendered norms are assumed to be universal and sacrosanct. And yet, by depicting a cis
Yeah,
male
it's
character
almost
who
as if they're
retains his gender
biological
through a
fact.
magical transformation, the pain and awkwardness of the resulting gender dysphoria resonated with me, both as a teen and today. It
Get
makes it
help,
repairable for the
sir.
messy and sometimes toxic process of coming to terms with a trans masculine identity.
Deal with it.
Ranma does not transform into a cis woman, but a trans man, and his vulnerabilities are still relevant, even if the way he
Can I ask a
navigates
question
them
real
is
quick?
not. And to further add some emphasis, I reached out to a couple
What is it,
friends of mine.
Schnell? What is it, Schnell?
What is the difference between a cis male and a cis female? Like, what does the word cis mean?
A cis basically means like in these wacko people's world, cis means you identify with the gender you were assigned at your birth. That's basically what they mean. So, in normal people's terms, not transgender. So, I'm a guy. I was born as a guy. I have XY chromosomes. I have a penis. I have no tits. And I think I'm a guy. I recognize the fact I'm a guy, and I have no, and I do not conflict with that. Therefore, in these people's worldview, I am a guy. That's basically what it is. That's what cis means. So if I all of a sudden start thinking I'm a woman, I'm now a trans woman. So that's the gist of it. And there's your word of the day. There's your word of the day, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, he'd be stunning and brave.
Stunning and brave. Stunning and brave.
So I can't say I'm just a male, or I would get canceled for that.
No, you literally. I mean, well, I'm sorry. What? I mean, are you a guy? Were you born a guy, Schnell?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you say you're a guy, it's like no. It's like you're just stating like in these wacko people's world, you're just stating what you identify as. That's literally it.
Oh my god.
Because it's never about acknowledging the. It's like. Whatever. I don't want to belabor the point. Moving on.
Chloe Sunflora and Crimson Ender, who can explain their perspectives on Ranma
Oh
from
god,
a trans
we got
woman
his fucking
and trans
people
man
here.
perspective, respectfully.
So Ranma One Half was definitely something that awoke a lot of trans women. I feel like we can definitely agree
Oh my
upon
goodness.
this. But I specifically, and upon being asked to talk about this, immediately had a few immediate examples come to mind. But I feel like the first and very big example of Rama as a trans woman making sense, or at least like working well in that regard, has to be the anime only episode in which Rama specifically loses their
Episode.
memory and ends up thinking
Absurd.
that they're fully a woman. As in they're put into the state of being a woman, and hey, they get memory loss due to Akane beating the shit out of them. Now, I remember watching that episode and thinking to myself, uh, Rama actually seems a lot happier like this. Like, you take away the masculine persona of Rama Saotome and you leave Ranma as a woman and make them believe that, hey, you've always been a woman. They seem a lot happier and a lot more well adjusted as a result of that.
No.
Like, this may just
You
be.
you just said that Ranma is suffering from amnesia. And since Ranma doesn't remember that he's actually a dude cursed to turn into a woman when he gets splashed with water, he sees he's a woman, therefore he thinks he's a woman. You just said that. You know that. What the fuck, dude?
Yeah, this take makes no sense if anybody's actually seen the anime or read the manga.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Hang on. What's the other person gonna say?
Me reading into it as from a trans woman's perspective on the matter, but I definitely watched that episode, read into it a lot, and specifically constantly said to myself, hey, why does Ranma seem a lot more well adjusted like this? And then you start having the gears work in your head as a result of that. But that episode also works well because masculine
Oh my
Ranma comes back
gosh.
as a result of that later in the episode, and you can immediately tell that something feels wrong.
You know what that reminds
and
me
I'm
of?
just like, oh my god, this is actually trans
That
tone
picture
correct.
right there.
What?
That picture right there reminds me of those people who think like, have you guys ever heard of My Hero Academia?
Yeah, okay, yeah, who
Oh
hasn't?
yeah, I already know where you're gonna go.
There is people that think, oh my gosh, Deku, Bakugo are over here going slapping each other's cheeks because they're like asexual or whatever they are or
Oh,
something like I don't know. I'm like, how do you know if that person's that gender? Like,
Oh
or
yeah,
Omega versus
yeah,
Unit
yeah,
wanting Deku.
yeah. It totally makes sense for fucking Bakugo to want to sleep with Deku, even though at the beginning Bakugo told Deku to fucking jump off a building. Yeah, that makes sense.
literally, he
This
hates.
I
one
haven't even
boy,
read
he
my
can't.
I haven't even read My Hero Academia, and yet I know that's super unlikely. Ah. These are also the type of people who, I know these are the type of people because Ant himself made this article. Ant has written articles for that trashy
Oh my
ass website CBR, and I am never letting him live this down. Ant made an article where he demanded that Marvel make Peter Parker bisexual and have him just totally retcon his entire history just so we can be bisexual, so we can shack it up with either Harry Osborn, Johnny Storm, Eddie Brock, or Wade Wilson. One of those dudes. Just he doesn't care who. He just wants to see Spider-Man fuck, even though that would with a dude, even though that would totally fuck up everything. And I don't even have time to go into how or why. Just take my word. I'm willing to say how in a later video, but it absolutely fucking would. Oh, God, man.
This feels so on point as to what you would expect in that sort of situation, and it just look, that episode is just one of the bigger examples. There's smaller examples for sure. The entire relationship that Rama has with Genma as a result of that, like, Genma is a piece of shit. We can go ahead and say that for the record. But I will go ahead and say that the way that Genma treats
How much is Genma a piece of shit, Luck Pup?
He's, according to these people's ideology, if he was a real person, yeah, he'd be the worst of the worst to them. This dude, like, if he was real, I guess it'd be bad. But he's one of those characters that's like, they just they do over the top, just kind of bad stuff in the context of the anime. It's not. That's basically what it is. You know what I mean?
Like, what's an example of something he does?
All right, let me think to myself here because there's a couple of things I could have. I know he did some perverted stuff, but these people they go very over the top about reacting to that,
So is
just
he?
like
So is
typical
he a bit?
perversion
So is he?
shenanigans.
Is he? So he's kind of. So is he like Master Roshi or something?
Yeah, I'd say like not as nice as Master Roshi, but a lot of people it's really just like the perverted antics that people are the most upset about, really.
Okay. All right. I get it. I get it now. I get it now. Moving on.
It's the fact that Ranma just is able to turn into a woman now, and just like that, and he's immediately just like absolutely disgusted by that. And while Ranma is certainly a little bit put off by that at the beginning of the series, and while they learn to adjust to that, Genma, on the other hand, is just like, you fucking freak. And that to me just feels just so much like, oh god, this is way too real for the transfab experience. But also, it
A
feels
little
very
bit
much like
no.
Ranma, as he becomes like more, or rather the masculine Ranma becomes like a lot more comfortable with that sort of thing, it becomes a lot more clear that despite Genma's grievances, they don't mind it as much. And that to me feels like the acceptance of like femininity in Ranma's life, and as a result of that, feeling a lot more happier being feminine in that regard. And that later, of course, leads into my prior example of what I mentioned before. But really, the entire relationship that Ranma later has with femininity as a result of their experiences throughout the series as well, definitely really does feel like the acceptance of that and leading that more into sort of just like becoming happier as a result of that alongside that, and especially in his relationship with women as well, particularly with Akane, because how could you not immediately see like, oh god, these two absolutely despise each other at the beginning, but over time they slowly but surely become a lot more nicer and even more genuinely loving to each other as
Yeah,
Rama
that's an
embraces
ignorant
femininity,
take.
to the point where I had canon that in another world, and like in an ideal world,
Oh my
Rama
lord.
would just be like, hey, why don't I just stay like this? Would this be better? And it's just like, I don't know. I don't know if Akane would like that or not, but I'm just thinking to myself, and a lot of fan art online really kind of likes doing that as well. And I'm just like, what if Rama
Yeah, very
just
ignorant
committed
take.
to the bit and just stayed as a woman? What if that were the case?
How about you?
But
How about you stop think? How about you stop thinking about what you think would happen and actually look at the text for what it is and try to derive the most logical thing from that? How about have you tried
Yeah,
that? Because I'm willing to bet because it might not be what you think it actually is, but oh my
the
god.
thing about this is like Ranma had a lot of problems in his life that's not really related to the gender thing. Like he's betrothed to a female that treats him horribly. His dad, like I said, is pretty mean. Like he's not in a good situation. And with the Akane thing, like it's not even really like she hated him as a person. She just hated men. That's why she didn't hate him when he was a female. Not because of anything about him as a person, but because she just hates men.
Yeah. I'm not skipping this section. I'm skipping to when like his other friend shows up.
Yeah.
That fucking blue hair piece of
that to
shit.
me is just one of the biggest examples that like
Oh, it's
that
a
is
furry.
the big example for me.
I find that there's this preoccupation with gender bending
Look
in
at that
fiction.
picture.
It's always done to a cis person unwillingly, to a woman
I
as a
think
means
it's
to
a
escape violence,
preoccupation.
and to a man as a form of punishment or a curse. Occasionally, you see it the other way
Oh,
around, such as early Bridget from Guilty Gear.
Oh no,
of
it's
course,
not.
of course,
No.
these goofy fucks think Bridget is trans. Ah.
They know nothing about fighting games, Guilty Gear, anything. Literally just the meme and the porn, probably.
Ah. But the creator himself said that Bridget is trans, therefore he is. Like, I am willing to bet good fucking money that the creator is just lying about his own game just to boost PR. I am willing to fucking bet that
Exactly.
because that was the socio-political climate in America at the time.
Seriously, it's
Oh
crazy.
my god.
Ask them about any other character in Guilty Gear. They don't care. It's so laughable and
Also,
obvious.
also, okay. So, hang on. Like, does anyone even know what Bridget's backstory is?
No.
Yeah, I do.
Buckpub, do you want to explain it?
Yeah, so basically, Bridget was born in a village where something about twins was a form of bad luck or something.
Yeah.
Let me see exactly. because there's a reason why he had to change gender, but basically he was because of a superstition, he was forced to change pretend to be a female.
Yeah.
Now, I guess he does look naturally girlish, but they forced him to cross dress and have long hair and act female and have a female name. And throughout most of the games, he didn't like that, and he would try to find ways to be more manly. Uh, However, it's actually interesting, even in the Guilty Gear game where all this stuff happened, and a lot of the good endings, that's not what people are really looking at. In a bad ending, he decides to just quit trying to be manly and just be Bridget, be like female Bridget. That's in the bad ending, but in the other endings, that is not present. And in the other games, he's saying that he wants to be more manly. He doesn't like what they did to him. Only in a bad ending in like the latest game does he say, "Oh, he's fine with it. He's female."
So that leads me to believe two things. Either one, the creator is literally retconning his own story, and that seems like a very bad retcon because, or number two, it's related to number two. It's a bad retcon because it's really reason number two. Or number two, Bridget has now totally just bought hook, line, and sinker into his parents' essentially brainwashing the poor kid into basically being like something that he totally isn't. He's just gulping down that Kool-Aid.
That's pretty much the bad ending
Yeah,
that people are basing their assessment on.
literally the bad ending is being presented as something good now. And I think with that, I am just going to fucking stop right here. So, what did we all learn today, folks?
That me being
Don't
a
ever.
sorry, me being a
No, no.
19-year-old was more educated to some dude reading some manga saying, "Oh no, getting all his facts wrong."
Herpet the third on my bye, herpet the third on my chance, herpet the third, I am ant, herpet the third. That's literally this whole fucking video. Okay,
And all I
well,
have to say is tourists GTFO.
yeah. Stay out of fandom, Zant. So if you guys, if you people watch, so yeah, again, Luck Pup, Chanel, thanks for coming on. So
Oh, you're welcome, man.
I'm pretty sure I might want you guys to show up later because oh man, knowing leftist, there's a lot of other videos like this. But if you guys enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, comment below what you thought, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys next time in the backseat. Take care.